So it's Friday night, and in the morning these two trees, this one and this one, are gonna get taken down, as well as a little apple tree down there. This is, I believe, is an ash. So I am coming out here in preparation for that, and I'm going to harvest the tomatillos right there. Make sure that we can get the harvest before branches potentially fall on them. So the goal will be that this bed that had the corn in it and the Roma tomatoes this year, some pumpkins and sunflowers and tomatillos, this will become all corn and mostly garlic, and we might even expand this garden if we have time before the ground freezes. But here are the tomatillos. The cold's kind of already hit them a little bit. I don't expect to get a ton. But I'll see what I can get. So these trees being gone will help us a lot. This one is really diseased. I'm not really sure what this one is, but it's mostly dead. Half of it doesn't even have leaves during the year. So, and then the apple tree is also dead behind it. It's a little tiny one. So it'll be good. Get a lot more sun on this garden going into next year. I still need to take the rest of these corn stalks down, but that'll wait, and pull the poles out too. So right now my focus is the tomatillos. Here's my basket full of tomatillos. Not sure how much. They're really small though, so may sort through and pick out some of the larger ones to keep. But I've cut them all down. I didn't pull them up over here in this garden because we're going to make this a side of Novadig, so we'll be adding to it. Here's the pile of tomatillos. They are really good at volunteering for the next year, which is fine. Part of this will be onions and then corn. We're gonna do shorter rows of corn next year, so I think we'll do shorter rows of corn. You never know when we get to it, but the plan would be to do corn only about maybe 16-foot rows to about here, and then do some rows going the opposite direction. I think we'll go east to west going forward, and then we're gonna kind of make rows here also for the garlic, and we may extend the garden out a little bit so it becomes a trapezoid there, and I don't think we'll extend it on this side, but we'll get really good sunlight once the tree is gone. Hey, birdie, come here. Come on. Come on, birds. You're fine. So a lot of work got done today. We got these 2 trees taken down that were next to the garden. It's going to make this garden much better, and we'll be able to actually make this garden a little bigger too, potentially. We rented a chipper also. Got some small pieces bucked up, but for the most part, we have logs. So one was an ash and one was a black cherry, I'm pretty sure. Using the forks really helped. But look at that. Some really nice pieces of wood, really straight. Had some help from a local tree guy. Really changes the yard. The guys used the rack a lot today, holding their chains and the chainsaws. This is the ash. Some of the cherry wood we might keep for the smoker as well, but the cleanup's not that bad. We had our first frost. You can see this is kind of frosted here. Some of the marigold are a little frosty. So what I'm gonna do, see if I can help some of these, is I'm gonna spray them with water quick, just as the sun's about to hit them. Oh, my frosty lettuce. So it should kind of help, but you can see this is just dirt. Look how frosty that is. We knew it was coming. Here's the oregano. But this is what happens in the fall. We're about 6 weeks late on getting it, so I can't really complain. The greenhouse will be fine. So I'm gonna do a quick spray down and see what I can save. The concept is if I get it early, will be good. The pumpkin's probably hurting yet, you can see here. Very sad. The tomato looks fine. So, all right, we gotta get to work. So I just came back out. It's about 20 minutes later, and I watered down, or misted, the lettuce again. And you can see it's now not icy. So it's all about timing on this. So usually as the sun comes up, you don't want it to have the frost on it at the same time as the sun. And then, but with the temperature still really cold, I had to miss a couple times to get them right. So hopefully I saved these lettuces. Lettuce is pretty strong, so it shouldn't be too bad. But it was a good example of the frost being very, very hard last night. Went through and picked all the grow bag peppers, and I got quite a lot. So guajillos, habaneros, peach scotch bonnets, poblanos, Thai chilies, Anaheims. There's a little bit of everything in this this basket at this point. It's probably close to 10 pounds. Basket's pretty big. And I picked some of the pots along the wall there. I haven't gone and picked anything in the greenhouse yet. That's not as pressing. But getting the peppers in here was they were out and exposed to that hard frost is important. I picked all the green ones as well. Looks like I missed one right here, so I should go grab that. I need to go back and pick all the small Thai chilies, but what I might do is have Jay move those to the porch so that it's easier to do that from the house instead of doing it out here, since they're all in pots. So that's the update. I did pick up I did pick the cayennes. There weren't that many ready, but there were a few. Leaving the green ones, since they seem to have made it through the hard frost, not too damaged. We'll know more by probably midday or end of day today. I've left them on there, and we should again have, I think, about 10 days before our next frost, though it's not going to be very sunny, so we'll see how they do for ripening. But the flowers, the marigolds actually still look really nice. Never been a marigold fan, but they're growing on me. And they do serve multiple purposes for the garden. So, still have a lot of cleanup to do. I still need to harvest the celery root and clean that up to get stored. I'm not sure if that'll happen today or not. So this is the first year that I've grown celery root, and so we tried it for the first time. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? And celery root just has this extra root ball on the bottom. The stalks you can still use for soups and eating fresh and salads and everything. So I'm gonna actually trim these, and all the tops will get frozen. The top greenery piece can actually be used in your stalks too. A lot of people actually tend to not use them, but you can use those. And then also you can put these in the oven or dehydrator, and then grind them up with a little bit of sea salt and make celery salt. So I might do that, I'm not sure yet. But what's gonna happen is I'm gonna trim all of these down, trim off all this root, this loose root part here, the hair, and then they make these big white, like softball size balls, and you can use them pretty much as you would a potato. So we made fries with them, and they were really, really good. You can do scalloped potatoes mixed in, and have these like every other one. With a regular potato, you could do put one of these in with your mashed potato, which is supposed to be really good. There's so many recipes, I haven't tried them yet. But the cool part is that we get to. This will be my first time storing these or trying to cure them. So I'm going to do what I would do with potato. I'm not going to wash them. I'm going to cut them all down, trim off all the dirt I can and the roots, and then put them in a dry space for 1 to 2 weeks, sheltered. Keep the humidity a little higher if I can for them, because they are a root vegetable. And then I'll move them into the longer term storage area in the garage. So I had these I actually did purchase from a local farm stand as plants. And so I purchased the first ones, and they were doing so well. When I went back to the stand a few weeks later, they actually had a discount on them. So I got 2 more 6-packs. So there's 6 here and 6 over there on the other side of this birdie's bed. So if you see here, these ones were the ones I put in later. I'm gonna try to pull it. Maybe. These root systems are pretty intense. So I just kind of shake them off to try to get the excess dirt off and move them to the tray. Kind of a fun thing to always try to do 1 or 2 new vegetables in your garden every year, and see what comes of it, what you like, what you don't. Time for me to head back in. I've pulled the few remaining onions that we had. I've got all the celery root and celery in that bread container I'll have Jay bring in. I picked 2 carrots for the puppies. I cut the Thai chilies that were out here, so that the roots and dirt can stay out, and then I can pick off these inside. I've pulled and picked all the dill, so the dill will get dried. I cut the parsley again, we'll dry that, spicy oregano, and then I have a bunch of flower seeds that I'm going to try to save. I already brought in the peppers from all the pots, so now all of these grow bags and pots that are around are ready to be composted and dumped. And I did bring in a few of the pots that were still really healthy of peppers into the greenhouse. There's like 4 or 5 that I brought in, so they'll continue for the week, unless we decide to pick the greenhouse today. I'm not sure if we'll do that or not. And mostly the lettuce looks healthy. Didn't get too damaged from the cold. There's a couple spots that didn't look good. The lettuce over here, I didn't save. You can kind of see what happens. See how it gets a little clear? That's from getting burned by the frost. So I might need to trim these back. And it might be actually a good time to trim them back and then transplant some of these ones into the greenhouse, so extend the season a little bit more. But the remains all did fine. It's mostly the green leaf that didn't withstand the cold as much. Still have these little orangey sweets on here. Might pick those today too. But this bed is all mostly cleaned out now that the onions and the celery came out of here. It just has this 1 pepper plant left. I've got the 1 pepper plant over here that's still doing okay. And then the lettuce mostly in this bed with just the flowers. Some herbs in there. And flowers in that bed, and a couple things of lettuce. Some lettuce mostly here, some parsley. What's left? The oregano, spicy oregano and parsley in this bed. And then it's just flowers. It looks like I missed a leek, so I'll grab that on the back side there. And then parsley, beets, and lettuce, and flowers in this bed. I did clip a bunch of seeds from the 2 whiskey barrels of the Cosmos and the giant California zinnias. The beets are still going fine. They're kind of protected right there. Asparagus is doing fine. This bed is this is the back side. This is the where the bush beans were. It's already been cleared out. So now I just have beets, carrots, and lettuce, and then the bacopa, the flowers, hanging down on the side. All of these are ready to get emptied. At this point, I think I picked them all, including green. This is beets. I've got lettuce going to seed. I thought it'd be kind of cool to let it flower and see I'm not sure if it will get there with the cold weather, but we'll see. And then a zinnia in the middle here. And then this is where I took out all the Thai chilies. I just pulled the poblano plants out, so we just need to go put them in the compost. But so this bed really only has like 2 or 3 marigolds and then the carrots around the edge now. This was the bell peppers. This cayenne bed, we keep going back and forth. We may pick the green cayennes and make something. We've been trying to figure out a good recipe for those. And then this bed, now that the celery root's out, we just have carrots and beets and then a couple marigolds in this one. And then along the wall there, we still have a few pepper plants and carrots. The beans I still need to deal with, the pole beans. I need to pull the vines and dry those, hang those dry. It's gonna rain for the next week straight, so can't do that on the trellis, unfortunately. I should have cut them probably a couple weeks ago. And then the back side still has the pumpkin and the tomatoes that are still doing fine. So as you can see, the garden is definitely winding down, but I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, we're almost end of October. We're 5 weeks past our average first frost date. I really can't complain. We didn't get our compost setup done this year when Addie got injured, our puppy, or 4-year-old dog. So unfortunately, that didn't make it as far as we want. So we had started staging things there. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We may just take this down for now, so plowing's easier. And then, yeah, Jay put these rocks here to make it so that we've got clear plow lanes. We may also pull power back into the greenhouse for this week to put some grow lights in there to help the peppers if we don't decide to pick them this right now. And we probably have another maybe 3 to 4 weeks that we can plant our garlic before the ground gets too frozen. And these raised beds, we're actually going to add in extra supports. So right now they just have like a middle or lower brace bar. And since we do get a hard freeze, we've decided to add more. So we purchased those, and we're going to be digging into the beds in the center, doing some screw work to get the bars through the center of them, just to add a little bit of extra support going into the winter. And then we'll want to also fill these back up with compost so that they're prepared for an early spring planting. I may plant a couple of these beds with garlic this year, this fall for next year as well, and try some in the raised bed, as well as we're going to plant most of the garlic over in the far garden where the corn is, and then we'll also still put some in the greenhouse. So I might have it in 3 places, so we'll see how that goes. I was almost tempted to plant garlic along these long beds, and then do just the trellis stuff, and then come in late season and do late season tomatoes again next year on this, but I'm still working on my plan for that. I was thinking that would actually work really nicely for the garlic, because I could do like an every other one to help with the spacing, and it might work well. I'm not sure, versus taking some of the big beds. But again, still figuring out my plans for next year. I'm sure that'll change like 10 more times before I plant the garlic. So it's coming along. Now I get to wheel the wheelbarrow over to the house and put the seeds into jars, get the parsley and the dill drying, pick all those Thai chilies off, because I think we're gonna make some more Thai chili and smoked cayenne hot sauce, and then give the dogs a couple carrots. So happy fall, happy first frost day, I suppose I could say.